Wow. I stay in my head on my fantasies, like I explained to you earlier. I look at my fantasies from when I left home to when I became grown and found a woman. And I didn't understand how to love. I just knew the feelings. And I lived in the fantasy of those emotions. And that's all I knew how to do. And that's how I learned how to be in love. But I didn't understand it in its fullness. I didn't understand it, right? After, let's see, uh, loving someone and loving myself is a choice I have to make. If I have learned to love myself, it can and will be easier to love someone else. It would be easier for me to accept another's feelings, even when I don't agree with what they're feeling. Wow. It's about what I feel, care, react to someone else, even if they are quite different from me. It's never always about me. When there's another person involved, it's about me and the other person. I got to get out of that habit that I said was difficult to break, that it's about just me. When there's two people, it's always about you or myself. I keep it on me and the other person. I cannot exclude, eliminate, or act as though the other person is not there. Because the other person is there. And because the other person is there, I need to have some acceptance that it's not always about me. When I don't agree with what they are feeling, it's about what I feel, care, react to someone else, even if they aren't quite, even if they're quite different from me. Issues they haven't worked on from their childhood to an adult life can be challenging for me. And if I'm people pleasing them, that's not love. That's fear. Fear I may lose them, or I want to be noticed by them to feed my fantasy of love. Wow. I just want them to feed my fantasy of love, what I think is love. And I don't really know what love is. I'm just feeling it from my emotions. And I want her that I told you earlier that I felt physical with, and I mixed the two together. And I want her to reimagine the fantasy that I have, and she cannot live up to that. And if she can't live up to that, I start becoming judging towards her, and I start to think that it's all about me, and she has to learn how to do things the way I think it should be done. And I'm totally ignoring all about her, because she got issues too, and some of them aren't issues. She got standards, boundaries, and I don't want to step all over her standards. I don't want to step all over her boundaries and cross them, because she has them too. And we're together bonding. So if she's bonding with me, I have to learn how to bond with her. Wow. Let me see. Talking about fear I may lose them, or I want to be noticed by them to feed my fantasy of love. All this can be resolved when I spiritually am motivated and loving myself first, then loving others. It's fine to want a loving relationship as long as we are spiritually aligned. Without that, chaos creeps in, and trust, suspicion, and self-centeredness, anger, and the likes thereof, which is sometimes called love, is really hate. I'm going to say it again. Two people must be aligned. In other words, we must be of one accord. We must be equally yoked. One accord, must be aligned. We must go in the same direction. And if one is in a different direction, maybe if the other one could lovingly show the direction that should be gone in, or should be directed in, maybe the other person could follow. That's whether it's the woman or the man, whether it's her or myself. You know, that's like if I'm unable to pay rent and bills, which I am able, but sometimes I get distracted more often than she would, because I want to buy this or buy that, and she's better able to handle the money, then I should be able to just give her my money because she's going to do the right thing with the money. And I shouldn't complain or anything because now this is about trust. See, this is what love is. A trust relationship, a caring relationship, a working relationship. We're building together. I used to think that building together things was physical. You know, build a house, build finance or a bank account, build things together when we have children and take them on and have photo albums, take them on trips and have photo albums and so forth, and building a life together. But how about we're just building untangible things that we can remember? Because if the house burns up and we're together in the hotel, we still got memories of love. We still got memories of life that we built. We still got memories of connecting with one another. There's silence when we need to be silent and speaking when we need to speak. Not want to speak, because when I want to speak, I'm always out of line with my partner and I always create a problem and wonder what her problem is. Because I don't know when to shut up, or vice versa. You know, I don't want to hate my partner because I don't want to hate myself. I want to love myself. So if I love myself, I must love my partner. Because remember I said we are one, bonded. Sometimes trying to be like others in the relationship because it looks wonderful, caring, meaningful, and so forth means we really don't know what it is to love. We see others living out our fantasies. And we strive to be what we imagine when we want what we want. This is false reality. It's not true love. Staying spiritually connected, we begin to experience real love. So when I look at what the Joneses are doing, you know, what someone else is doing, this is when I feel loving relationship in our reality of relationship is false. When I'm just showtime and I'm not doing things the way it should be done according to the way her and I are doing things, because I don't know what Mary and Ed is doing. I don't know what Abdul and Shaqiqua is doing. I don't know. All I know is what I see, and I feel like I want that, and that's how we should be, you know. But that's like my dad. I used to play a bass. I used to be with this guy named Azay, you know, and he taught me how to play a bass, and we had a band, they called it Ike and the Jive Five, because they heard amateur playing. And when the band came in the neighborhood and played, my dad would say, now that's how y'all should play, but he never took me to music school to learn anything. Never helped me play. So I'm learning how to play, learning what music sounds like by watching others, and I think that this is how it should be. And I have my own feelings on how to play things, and I can't express it because I really don't know the frets. I don't know how to do things. I'm just learning a little bit by ear, you know. So I'm watching other people being loved the way I fantasize, and they seem like they're living out my fantasy of love. And I'm trying to follow that, but it's not true love. It's a fantasy. It's a fantasy that I like looking at because it's what I view. Love is an action word. It's life is not. It speaks life into itself, but of others. Not just a human experience, but one of spiritual experience to care for everything as well as for the partner we're involved with. This loyalty and commitment with one's soul, it can be felt in the way we speak, act, believe, we see things, because none of it is a negative. Wow. I have to understand that love is a spiritual experience. And you know, that's what I wrote. Everything this is what I believe. Everything we do is a spiritual experience. God must be involved. It must be of one accord. I keep saying aligned. Aligned with God. If I can align myself with God, then I can align God and myself with my partner. And we can grow spiritually in the relationship. and things won't be as bad as I think they are. My fantasies will change because I'm aligned with God, and God will show me the right way of doing things. And if I'm doing the right way, if I'm doing things the right way, she might follow me. If she's not following me, if she's following God, I need to follow her. See, because we never know who's going to save each other. God can save us both. This loyalty and commitment with one soul, if it can be felt in the way we speak, act, believe, see things, because none of it is negative. Staying with a positive mindset can be felt by our partner, and it might move our partner to be more positive. This depends on what our spirit is hoping for, because sometimes we don't really know what love is. What we want someone to show us. Remember that song? I want to know what love is. I want you to show me. I want you to show me. And when you show me, sometimes different from what I fantasize, I may tend to go with the flow. Or I might destroy what you show me because it doesn't match my fantasy. Wow. Like I said earlier, I don't know what love is. I never knew what love was. I just imagined what it was. It didn't come to me with a book of it. I just imagined it. And my love, what I imagined love is, was totally distorted. And she can see the distortion. And when she tries to show me differently what she knows, it might seem better, but because I have an ego, I can't follow her wholly. Can't follow her wholly. But if I did follow her and it was different from what I do, maybe it would be better for me. Because we are working together, not separate and apart. Together. So when somebody shows me what love is, look, I learned love through black and white movies. Black and white movies showed me what love is. This is how I learned love in adult stage. Boy meets girl, girl meets boy. They like each other. They don't say anything. She's a little too shy to come out forward. He doesn't want to admit it. And then somebody else likes him or her. And then this jealousy that comes about because we don't want to talk about what we truly love, but we both know that we have feelings for one another secretly. And we let things play out because we can't control one another. And then drama happens in the movie. And then in the end, he runs off with the woman, marries her, and they live happy ever after. This is how I learned how to love. Black and white movies showed me what love is, and it was very distorted. At a grown age, that's how I knew love. And I did that with women, and trust me, it did not work out for me. It never works out right. But I didn't know. My mom didn't teach me. My dad didn't teach me. So I learned the best way I knew. And it wasn't that great. This is why spiritually,